Hello and welcome back here on my English YouTube channel. Today I want to come back to my Star Wars Naboo MOC project. I started here a long time ago. I only did 2 updates here on the English channel, but I really want to show you all the other updates I did on the German channel some months ago. And here you can see where we left off last time here on the English channel. I have 4 48 by 48 base plates. And that's the place I'm working on. I want to show a little part of Naboo under Imperial occupation, not the most or better known area under the Clone Wars area, but I really want to show you some time that is not shown in the movies, but sometimes shown in the comics. I got a big package here with a lot of 1x2 tiles in different colors, and all of these parts are for the roofs in my city here. Another package here, as you can see here, mostly with 10 colored bricks and plates and stuff like that, because we need an insane number of parts in that color. As you might imagine, the project is getting more expensive than I ever thought, but it's important to have all these parts. Here's one thing special here. It's a rounded building. You saw it in the last video when I did it here. And it's a very interesting build because you might know that rounded buildings are very important in the shape of Naboo. And I really wanted to have one part of it here on my little MOC project here. So I decided to have just 1/4, but that's a very important part of the city. And it's not so easy to build it up. So I started working with some special technique here. It's an illegal building technique, of course, because all the parts are here a little bit on stress. But at the end, I think that's the perfect solution to build a rounded building like that here in my Naboo MOC project. So I started working here with some different techniques. I tried some different stuff, but at the end I got a very nice solution for the roof part here on top of it. I used sand green here, and it's extremely under stress, the parts here, but it's working. I connected everything on the both parts of it, and it's okay. But it's, as I said, okay, but it's a highly intense illegal build technique because it's so under stress, and I really hope that nothing falls off just by trying to get out of that very stressful position. But I think really that rounded building is very important to have that significant shape of the, if you want to call it skyline, from the city here in Naboo. And I really wanted to have that design, that rounded design inside that MOC, even if it's not a big MOC. As I said, it's just 96 by 96 studs, but I think it's very important to have all these little details that are important for the style of that city. I also started working here a little bit on the other side. As you might see here, if we go a little bit closer here, I create a kind of frame here downstairs, because I want to have a little upper part inside, and also created that kind of frame structure a little bit upper here to have a solution to get everything inside. By the way, I added some more minifigures here. Here's 8 stormtroopers, of course, marching out of that building on the streets. And as I said before, it's a very important part to have a kind of feeling of an occupied city. And that's very important to have that with a lot of stormtroopers, in my opinion. And also I created another part of light here. I added 4 lights, 1 in every arch here inside. And as always, I'm using the light system from Light My Bricks, the same system I'm using in my main city. And it's a very good system. I really like it. And I also wanted to use it inside that structure here, inside that MOC project, because it's just the perfect solution in my eyes for everything to light up Lego projects. On the other side, you can see a lot of parts are still missing, but before we are talking about the right side, I just wanted to show you the night mode of the current state of that MOC, and I really like how these colors combine with the tan and sand green colors of the buildings, and it makes a very warm color version of the city, combining that with that cold white inside the building on the left and all these occupation forces inside. I think it's a perfect solution. Today's update and every upcoming video about my Lego MOC project of Naboo is sponsored by N-Sabers, a cool company creating cool lightsabers with realistic visuals, realistic sounds, and as you can see here, even if I have really practiced my skills, you can see that you're getting a very, very nice and realistic looking lightsaber. Maybe you want to buy one for Christmas, you get 7% discount, so do some cool stuff with it. Another day, another package. I got some new parts for that mock project, and I don't remember how many parts I bought. I have different brickling stores over here in Germany, but I bought an insane number of 10 parts and some other parts here. These are interesting parts for crates, for example, and just some little other parts here, of course, as always when I'm buying some stuff. I started working on the upper part of the rounded building here. I'm just testing some stuff, how I can do it, because it's a little bit complicated. I have these big arches here, these 1x8 arches, but putting them inside that rounded part is a little bit complicated. It's more stressful as I thought, so I might change that to another solution. For now, I'm just leaving it to have some time for other ideas. But in the meantime, I also started working on the other side of my MOC, as I started working here on the next building here. It's a building just on that side. Another one is coming in front of here a little bit in another angle. And yeah, I'm just testing out how everything can be connected. As you can see, here's added some more tiles here. And yeah, I just have to build up all these buildings because, as you might know, last year I did that on a German channel for another channel, but that's something not important for today. But I started working here, added these new parts I got in the package just a few moments ago. These are some futuristic kinds of crates. I really like that little look here. And I also added here Ahsoka here with a stormtrooper, and also added a lightsaber here in white, of course, because that's the color of Ahsoka's lightsabers. I just added one here because it was too much for that little scene here. But I think it looks quite interesting to have Ahsoka here with a lightsaber taking down of the stormtroopers here in that little alley here. Putting out or taking out the light in the room, you can see how everything looks, and I really like that. Yeah, that loom here of that lightsaber in the face of Ahsoka and also on the helmet of that stormtrooper. It makes a little nice addition here, adding another kind of light here, not warm light like on the other parts, but that lightsaber light here in that little alley. And I really like how everything comes together in today's update. By the way, I added a little here, some of that trooper here, a little nod to the Clone Wars area. Just some, battle droid from a long time ago, just here sitting between these little crates here. And also started working a little bit more here with some leaves here, building that little tree here. And also started working on the balcony here to have some nicer parts here. We have that man on top of here with an angry face looking down on the occupation forces here, and I think it's just some little details here, just some little storytelling, which is very important in a project like that. And slowly we are coming to the end of today's update. Just want to show you once again the night mode of the current state, and added all of these parts here, I think, especially with the start of the bit on the right side and adding the little scene with Ahsoka. We have a nice looking night mode here on that mock project. Here in the front there's coming another building, a little bit in another shape. So we have that little alley later on with where Ahsoka is inside. And the story all over of that part is that there's information that there is a Jedi here in the city. That's of course Ahsoka. So the occupation forces with the stormtroopers are on the streets, talking with people, searching for her, etc., etc. And that's the overall story here on that little mock here. And I think it's not a complicated story, but it has a lot of possibilities to have little stories inside the city here. And by the way, I'm not sure if I'm not going to make that mock sometime in the future bigger, but for now, that's it for today. So stay tuned for future updates.